In 1985, my grandfather, Jerry Kenyon, bought a deer camp. He called it Kenroven. For years, he hunted with my father and other family and friends across the public lands of northern Michigan. They base camped out of old campers and tents, but now it was time to put down roots. The small one-room log cabin was simple. No electricity, no running water, but it had character. And 40 acres of swamp, surrounded by thousands of acres of public forest. For decades before and after the cabin, the Kenyon family deer camp thrived. The meat pole was full. The legends grew large. My grandfather in this land taught my father how to hunt. And soon after I was born, the same began for me.
So what do you think, Mark? What do you have to say?
I've never seen anything like it.
It was here that I learned to shoot a gun, to use a knife, to navigate the woods. It was here that I fell in love with deer. But as the years marched on, like many others across the country, our camp began to fade as original generations disappeared and the deer population fell. Now, with 2 young boys of my own, the future of Kenroven has been on my mind more than ever. So with the next generation in mind, my family has kicked off a series of projects to revitalize the deer population and hunting traditions at our camp. This week, my father David and childhood friend Josh are heading up with me for our first hunt at Kenroven since these upgrades. Our goal is to assess our progress and help my dad fill an archery tag. Are we headed in the right direction? We'll see.
This is how it usually goes in this tube. I'm ready. I'm just waiting. Alright, Josh, we're not out. Thanks, man. Good luck. Let's get started here. It's cool to see this now after, everything this summer. Yeah. I guess they're gonna move off in this direction. We shall see. Yep, well, I'm excited. I'm ready.
During Kenroven's glory years, our land, as well as the surrounding public, was checkered by old fields and logging sites, creating a mosaic of early successional cover that wildlife depends on for food and cover. But over recent decades, much of that young growth has matured into closed canopy forest. To get sunlight back on the floor and create new food sources, we've recently brought in a habitat contractor to help cut several wildlife openings into our mature forest, to create a new small food plot in that same timber, and to significantly expand another destination food source. The result should be a noticeable increase in available food and diversity in an area that's recently been lacking.
There's a deer crossing the trail back there. Let's go. It's walking right towards us. Making our way along the edge. All right, that's cool. Well, unfortunately, I think that's it.
If I were to imagine the heyday, it was when I was like 8 or 9.
Yep.
And then over the last 30 years, just the experience was changing here with deer. So
Yeah.
fewer and fewer
Yep.
deer, and there was just a few of us left.
How do we, to the best of our ability, do what we can to improve the quality of hunting to the point where people are going to want to come up for the hunting as much as they do for the camaraderie. And that's what I think that's our goal.
Well, I think we're on our way. I
Yeah.
mean, when I started coming it was part 2, and now we're beginning like part 3, like the
Right.
third generation.
Right.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
when they send a new ship out, they would crack a bottle of champagne on the bow or something. I feel like that's what we need to do for you. Like, you need to shoot a big buck this week to break the champagne bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get the ship floating.
Yep. To good hunting, gents.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Flash flooding caused by thunderstorms.
Sit here for a little bit longer, slip out maybe when it dies down a little bit. Try again.
After it rained all day like that, I'm sure everything was put down pretty good. And with it, dying off right here for the very end of the evening, I think that stuff lines up pretty good.
Yeah.
My imaginings are about how important it is to continue the legacy, recreate the legacy for the next generation. But that's really what's important to me. I want to see Kenroven become, for you and your kids, what it was for you. That's what I want to see happen.
Yeah.
I think that there's a real serious chance of this being the last generation. And I don't want that to be the case. So for me, it's very personal. I want to see Grandpa's legacy continued long after Uncle Steve and I are gone. So.
All right, Dad's about 10 after 6, so I've been having flashbacks of our last night hunting on the back 40. We got to the last hour of daylight on the back 40 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You were very chatty that last hour. And you're equally chatty tonight.
So what are you saying? Just shut up.
Well, yes. Now you can shut up. But I think that's gonna be a good sign. I think that's the good luck we need. You gotta be in a chatty mood, and that attracts the bucks.
They want to get into the conversation, right? Yeah.
Must be.
2 years ago, I had the chance to guide my dad on his first archery kill, an extra special accomplishment given the vision challenges he's dealt with since birth. It was a night just like tonight, with a slow start and fading daylight. And after 5 days of hunting, he finally got his chance.
He's down right there. You just killed the biggest buck of your life.
Thank you.
Oh man, that's a nice deer.
He's a beautiful buck.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There it is. If we could somehow repeat the feat now, in this most special place, it would mean the world.
Right back in it, boy.
Well, we're officially halfway through the hunt, so want to try to get a little better idea what's going on. Hope with all that work we put in this off season that the food plot game will be working. It very well might be. There certainly have been a lot of deer on camera, but this weather has not been conducive. But I do have a camera up here a little ways, and then there's another camera along the border with a neighbor who's planted some corn this year for the first time. And so, these deer might be keying in on that, and I think it'd be worth going and walking that edge and just seeing what it looks like and pulling that card. So maybe pick up a little bit of intel that could help. If nothing else, looking at those pictures might give us a little bit more hope. I still really hope we can turn around, because this would be really special. And I'm just hoping that it works out. So go check these cameras and put a new game plan together.
I warned you guys, could be a total bust.
Yeah, so you haven't seen any of these pictures yet?
No.
Oh, there you go.
That's a nice one.
It has a cool
Super
buck.
tall buck.
Yeah, tall tine.
Big 6-pointer.
Yeah.
There he is again back there, or it's a different buck. It's a big buck.
Oh, that's nice.
So
23rd.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Wow. And I think that's really encouraging.
Well, good to see. Different buck. Good to see some daylight activity.
Now we just got to kill some of those deer up here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm excited still. I was real excited about what we saw in the trail cam. I think we're still in the game. This is not the ninth inning.
No.
Well, I'm in it to win it.
Good. Both the boys have been talking a lot about wanting to come up and get excited.
Good.
It's so cute. Everett will be telling Colt about things. Like he's telling Colt stories. And Colt's all excited because, this is Colt's first year to get to come up.
Yeah.
So you have experienced this on both sides. What do I need to make sure I'm thinking about as I'm taking the boys out?
Frankly, all I did with you is I gave you exposure to it and we fed the habit. So we had the conversations. We talked about what it was like to hunt. We talked about not only the techniques and the science and the approach, but also the morality of it. And we talked about, that you need to be an ethical hunter and to not be so analytical or so driven to be successful. That stops being fun for them.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a real good year. And Grandpa would be proud, Mark. Grandpa's looking down and he's excited to see what's going to happen at Kenroven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
As the long, slow days stack up, I'm coming to terms with the fact that we'll likely be going home this week without a deer.
Today, in between hunts, I went and took a little walk around the pines, and I touched one of the pine trees, and I was flashed back to, the buck pole back in 1995, and staring up at those deer, and I realized there's so many places here where you can look around and all of a sudden you're transported back in time.
Yeah.
Here comes Mark.
Dad, come here. I want to tell you something.
That's pretty special. That's what sets this place apart. You might not see the biggest deer, we might not see the most deer, but this place built me. I'm so thankful that we have a place like this. It's not just a place, it's us.
All right, it's October 31st, 2024, and I'm heading back to the Northern Michigan deer camp because last year, my dad and I were up here hunting. It didn't end the way we wanted. It had horrible conditions, warm, rainy, didn't see much. But we just couldn't give up after that. We got to get my dad deer up here. So we're coming back for try number 2. Conditions are much better. See if we can make it happen. So I want to show you what I did. I went back and looked at every one of the 2023 buck pictures that we got after our trip. And when you see it all at once, you realize that there are a lot of deer, a lot of good deer that came through. I mean, I'm going to cycle through some of these, but I mean,
Yeah, I know. I look at that.
stud,
Yeah. Yep.
shooter buck,
Yeah.
legal buck,
Yep.
really big buck in daylight,
Yep.
really big buck in daylight.
Yep.
This was not the case 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
10 years ago.
Big difference. Well, I think we made a lot of progress. We just got to close the deal. That's
Yeah.
what I'm excited about doing this season.
Yeah, so I've got a folder here of 2024 bucks. I mean, so this is
yeah.
that buck that
Yeah,
last year
Yep.
he was really impressive, and this year, I mean, really.
Beautiful deer.
And that is a deer that I would shoot in Illinois, I would shoot in Iowa, I would shoot in Nebraska, I would shoot in southern Michigan. That's the biggest buck,
Really?
at least on any of my cameras in those
Really?
states I have
Wow.
anywhere.
Yeah. It's a beautiful deer. That's a great deer.
So 2 days, 2 different spots,
Uh-huh.
good wind direction. Both of them have had good activity on camera. Both
Yep.
are a good little food source, close to bedding, close to edges that deer should cruise. get up early tomorrow and make it happen.
Good. Excited.
Sweet November tomorrow.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it, buddy. Can't seem to get away from this rain though, can we?
No. I got real trust issues with the better man.
We can see even less than I was thinking we could, so we're just gonna have to stay like ready and on it, because as soon as we're to see them, they're gonna be almost in range.
Right.
So I have some good news. I checked pictures, and last night the giant was here in this food plot last night. Yeah, Bruiser. And here's a picture of Bruiser coming
Oh,
through.
yeah. Jeez, that's a great shot. Wow.
If we see him, it would be insane. Just don't walk behind his desk, just hold steady. Right. See what they do, see if they come on far or not.
So what's your most memorable moment with Everett?
Yeah, one of my very favorite hunting memories with Everett was a fake turkey hunt. We had an umbrella, and we were playing in the woods, walking around, and then we heard a turkey gobble.
Oh.
So I said to Everett, I'm like, hey, you want to go try to get that turkey? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And we called them all the way in. They're coming on a string to me. And Everett's like, Dad, can I shoot one? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he takes his umbrella and he puts his umbrella on the windowsill of the blind. And puts his cheek back down on the stock of his umbrella. And he goes, kapow! He just yells, kapow! As loud as he can. And those turkeys go running out of there like a bat out of hell. But then he turns and looks at me. And I look, I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, Dad, did I miss?
Oh my God.
I'm like, no, buddy, you're using an umbrella. Somewhere right on the edge there. He's far away, Dad. Don't worry. Just take your time. Hold still, though. He's either just standing behind the trees and I can't see him, or he turned him to the neighbors, but we need to act as if he's still right there, just standing looking at us probably. He was just walking right down the pipeline. Wow. I could just see a tall tines. Where? It wasn't Bruiser, but it was a nice one. Yeah. I mean, I just saw tall tines. And then I grunted and they disappeared. And he must have just been in too thick of stuff and then circled downwind of us and got right behind us there. That's the biggest buck I've ever seen while hunting here.
We've got a day and a half to still get that deer.
That buck was like about the same size, but maybe a little bit wider than Grandpa's big one. Really? The biggest buck. So that buck that just came through, it looked a lot like this deer. Looked similar to that. And he just came along that pipeline, and then I think he circled downwind of me when I grunted, and then got behind us, and I just caught a glimpse of him as he kind of slowly jogged off. But that's a heck of a buck for here. Got your blood pumping, I bet. It does. It does. Man, we just saw a big buck at Kenroven. Maybe he'll come back through. We never know.
Good day. Wish we had seen those deer a little closer.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting. Each one of them came behind us.
yeah,
Not where I would have expected them. But yeah, very encouraging to see a super nice buck. I mean, that's incredibly encouraging. We have a wind shift to more southerly wind direction tomorrow. So I think we need to move up to food plot 1, kind of where this whole thing started last year, where we kind of
That's right.
made our stand last year, was in that food plot on the blind on the north side of that plot. Sets up very well for southerly winds. And I've always thought hypothetically that there should be bucks coming down and that corner and cutting in to check for does. And you know, Grandpa killed a lot of bucks right there.
Yeah, I did.
I killed a buck down that creek a little bit further. So one of these days it's got to pan out for us there. Maybe tomorrow.
He's 15 yards away. No. Gonna walk right along the left edge of the plot again. I see that. That's exactly what you want to see. And that's what the hope was of this setup, is that you get a buck. Come cruising through here, check it out for does, check this grave. Just need a little bit bigger one. Yep. If there wasn't an antler point restriction here that required 3 points on the side, that would have been a perfect shot. 15 yards. Come on, big guy, where you at? Oh, there's a buck. It's a good one, Dad. Okay. It's a shooter. He's right behind the blind. Don't move. He's right there. It's Bruiser. Oh my gosh. Just ran off. That doe came out. There's 2 does. And then the giant. I got a great look at him. He was standing right behind the other blind. I can't believe that deer's living here. It's just insane. Yeah. That's one of the most impressive bucks I've ever seen. Yeah. Especially in Michigan. Yeah. I'd love to get a shot at it. Holy shit, that's a giant. I mean, a giant. Don't say anymore. You're gonna get me too excited. I want to be steady. I want to get a shot. That was this deer. Just an absolute giant. Hope they didn't wind us and they'll come back. I think that's a wrap. We're on a shooting light. Still a good time. That was a great time.
When I was a kid, Grandpa had a picture up here. I don't know if it was like a newspaper clipping or a photocopy of a photo of a buck, a huge buck.
Yeah.
And it had his name written underneath. It was named Ralph, I think. buck. And I remember as a kid seeing that picture. It was a 10-pointer, but I remember thinking, can that possibly be real? I thought it might be fake. I did not know deer could get that big. So I think we should print off a photo of the giant from today, a bruiser.
Yeah.
And I think we should put that picture right here
I think that's a great idea.
for the next generation to look
Ideas.
at. Maybe that will inspire them the same way Ralph did for me.
You bet.
That's a deer of a lifetime. That's a deer of many dreams. And we actually saw that deer today.
Yeah.
Wasn't in our cards tonight, but there is good news. And that's that we can always come back.
No, we didn't kill a deer, but we saw steady activity and the 2 biggest bucks we've ever seen at our camp. But maybe even more important, we have new stories to tell.
Just can't believe I just saw that deer here.
Yeah, no, I know.
From my grandpa to my dad and uncles, and now from me to my own sons, the legends of Kenroven have passed from generation to generation, holding our camp together like glue. More than antlers on the wall or bucks on the pole, it's stories that make a deer camp. And as long as those stories live on, so will Kenroven.
What are you looking for?
A deer or a black bear.
Oh, yeah, okay.